They say vengeance is a fire that consumes you whole.
He was only a boy, but just look into those eyes.
I'm gonna kill you!
Listen to me! As long as Askeladd keeps breathing, eating, and shitting, it's not a waste! Because he has to die!
I'll rip out your heart and dedicate it to my father's spirit.
But what happens when that fire burns away everything you once were, leaving only ashes and guilt?
I don't know your faces. Or your names. I can't remember where I took your life. Never again. I'll never hurt anyone again. From this moment on, I am through with violence. I will be reborn. And I will atone for all that I've done.
This isn't a story of triumph. This is the fall and fragile rebirth of a warrior who lost his soul to the sword.
Now that my hatred is gone, I'm empty.
From blood-soaked revenge to soul-crushing trauma. This is the Dark Rise of Thorfinn, anime's most broken character. By the end of this documentary, you'll understand how one boy, driven by rage, trained by pain, and tested by fate, became the shattered reflection of his own legend. Hi, I'm the Unknown Shinobi. I create weekly anime documentaries, and today we peel back the layers of Thorfinn's dark and tragic rise, from a warrior fueled by parental vengeance to a hollow man haunted by his own sins. This isn't just about violence. It's about the cost of believing your purpose can only be found in death. Where does the line cross between warrior and monster? And can the soul ever crawl back from that edge?
Let's go! Face me in the door right now! Don't you get it? I was the one who was supposed to kill you!
It all begins with a dagger, a father, and a promise fueled by rage. Born in the early 11th century, Thorfinn is introduced as a child of boundless curiosity and innocent dreams.
Forward ho! Vinland's not too far away!
Before Thorfinn became a weapon of mass destruction, it was simply a boy who believed his father was invincible.
You really are a big liar! My father and my ancestors would never run away like that! Stupid old man! Washed up geezer!
Thor Snorreson, the legendary troll of Yom, had abandoned his blood-soaked past to become a farmer in Iceland, trading his sword for a plow, his reputation for peace. To young Thorfinn, this didn't make his father weak, it made him godlike. A true warrior has no need for a sword. That's the infamous line that Thorfinn's father Thors lived by, and instilled in Thorfinn from a tender age. But little did Thorfinn know that this same exact teaching was going to later sting his heart and plant a seed that would later then twist into something unimaginable. Additionally, Thors would normally go on to tell Thorfinn stories about Vinland.
In Vinland?
A mythical warm land across the Western Sea, where no weapons exist, where conflicts dissolve into conversation, where violence is as foreign as winter snow in summer. This wasn't just a bedtime fantasy. It was a prophecy. Thors was preparing his son for a destiny neither of them could fully comprehend. But prophecies, like children's hearts, can be twisted beyond recognition. On July 28, 2019, Episode 4 of Vinland Saga was released, and in this tragic episode, Thorfinn watches as his whole world is torn apart. The morning Thors departed for what would become his final voyage, 6-year-old Thorfinn made a choice that would haunt him for 2 decades. Desperate to prove himself worthy of the strongest man alive, he stowed away on his father's ship, trading the safety of innocence for a front row seat to the most traumatic experience of his young life.
They're on the sea!
In that cargo hold, trembling with excitement and fear, Thorfinn sealed his fate. The boy who believed in his father's strength was about to witness its limits. The child who dreamed of adventure was about to learn that some journeys destroy you. The innocent son was about to watch his hero bleed out in the middle of the ocean, and in that moment, everything pure about his worldview would die alongside the man he worshipped. The death of innocence isn't a single moment. It's a slow hemorrhaging that stains everything it touches. When Askeladd's men's spears pierced Thor's heart, it simultaneously carved out Thorfinn's soul, leaving a wound that would fester for 11 years. Thor's murder was karma for his past. Why was Thor's killed? Thor's ending was pretty tragic. But here's what makes this tragedy so devastatingly realistic. Thorfinn didn't just lose his father that day. He lost his entire understanding of reality.
Why? Why did he have to? Damn it! That bastard! Father beat him, but he's still... Damn it!
The strongest man alive was dead. The philosophy of peace had been defeated by the practice of violence. In that very moment, 6-year-old Thorfinn saw that peace was weakness, strength is survival, and only ruthless killers inherit the earth. He then swore to kill Askeladd.
Cowards! How dare you! How dare you take a warrior like my father! I'm gonna kill you for that! I'll be the last thing you see! I'll kill you! Do you hear me?
Not only did he want revenge, but he also became one of Askeladd's most feared raiders, not out of loyalty, but to earn the right to duel and kill him in a fair fight. For over a decade, Thorfinn transforms. Where once there was laughter and adventure, now there was only hunger for blood, fueled by purposeless loss. By the age of 7 years old, Thorfinn claimed his very first victim's life. And by the end of that same year, Thorfinn had become one of the most feared assassins in Denmark, a shadow that brought death wherever it fell.
Damn. Hey, who is that child? Did he kill all of those men?
And by the time he turned 18, he was merely an emotionless weapon used by Askeladd to kill hundreds of warriors and innocent villagers. Askeladd became the dark reflection of everything Thor's represented, teaching Thorfinn that power flows from the edge of a blade, that respect is earned through fear, that love is weakness, and mercy is suicide. Every assassination Thorfinn carried out was a prayer to his father's ghost. Every drop of blood he spilled, an offering to prove himself worthy of vengeance. The boy who once helped plant seeds now reaped human lives like wheat, his small hands growing calloused around daggers instead of farming tools, his bright eyes hardening into chips of Arctic ice. He moved through battlefields like a force of nature, too fast to track, too skilled to stop, too broken to save.
You're dead! Ah! He disappeared.
Thorfinn is more cruel than anyone else. How different would Thorfinn's life have been if he hadn't left with his father? Avenge your father's death, Thorfinn. The innocent boy who once believed in Vinland, now carved through human flesh with mechanical precision, each kill bringing him no closer to peace, only deeper into the abyss of his own making. Revenge is a fire that promises warmth, but delivers only ash. For 11 brutal years, Thorfinn fed this flame with blood and hatred, believing each kill would have brought him closer to his ultimate goal. So when the moment finally came, the clash he had lived for, the vengeance that had become his heartbeat, he thought the world would finally make sense. But fate had a crueler script in mind. On December 29th, 2019, episode 24 of Vinland Saga's first season, titled End of the Prologue, was aired. In this fate-twisting episode, Thorfinn would witness something that would once again go on to change the entire trajectory of his life forever. Askeladd would be brutally killed right in front of him, just like what happened to his father a few years back. The only difference is that Thorfinn loved his father with all his heart, and hated Askeladd with all his soul.
Are you mocking me, you bastard? You're taking this from me too! It's not the way things are supposed to happen! Not like this! Don't do it! You can't just die on me!
So when Askeladd died, the fire that had sustained Thorfinn's existence simply went out. And what happens when the thing that defined your entire reality vanishes in an instant? You become nothing. Whose death had a bigger impact on Thorfinn? Thor's or Askeladd? Would Thorfinn have killed Askeladd, truly? Thorfinn quickly became a hollow shell, haunted by those he'd killed, unable to sleep, unable to speak. He is trapped, not behind bars, but behind trauma. This is perhaps the most psychologically accurate portrayal of trauma-induced dissociation ever animated. The boy who built his identity around violence now couldn't lift a sword without his hands trembling uncontrollably. Thorfinn had become a walking paradox, a killer who forgot how to kill, a warrior who lost his war before it even began, a son who could no longer hear his father's voice through the static of his fractured mind. But sometimes, hitting rock bottom is the only way to find solid ground to build upon. Sometimes, you have to become nothing before you can become something real. Sometimes, the shell has to crack completely before the person inside can finally breathe. Thorfinn's breakdown wasn't his ending, it was his beginning. The death of the Avenger would birth the man his father always believed he could become. True strength isn't discovered in conquest, it's unearthed in captivity. Sold into slavery on Kettle's farm in Season 2, Episode 1, which was released on January 9th, 2023, Thorfinn was stripped of weapons, purpose, and identity. In fact, around this same time, Thorfinn faced his most important battle yet, the war against his own demons.
No! Please let me go! Please don't! No! God!
But this transformation didn't happen overnight, and it certainly didn't happen alone. For months, he remained catatonic, a living corpse shambling through wheat fields, his famous speed reduced to the mechanical movements of mindless labor.
We're not anywhere close to done, are we?
His body worked, but his soul remained trapped in that moment when Askeladd died, frozen in an endless loop of rage and emptiness. On January 16th, 2023, Episode 2 in Season 2 was released, and in this episode, he met Einar, a man who had every reason to drown in hatred. His family slaughtered, his freedom stolen, his future erased. And yet, impossibly, Einar chose hope. Here's the brilliance. Einar didn't try to fix Thorfinn with speeches or philosophy.
We're property, but we aren't their property. Just because we serve their master doesn't mean we serve them. I'm going to tell him about today.
Don't do that. It would only get them to harass us more.
What are you saying? You're really willing to accept that?
He fixed him with presence, with shared suffering, with the simple revolutionary act of treating a broken killer like a human being worth saving. Every grain of wheat became rebellion. Every sunrise, proof Thorfinn survived another night without killing. Every callus on his hands replaced the blood that once stained them. This wasn't just farming. This was resurrection. Slowly, painfully, beautifully, the slave began to understand what his father meant about true strength. Freedom wasn't power over others, it was power over yourself. And then would come Thorfinn's ultimate test. When chaos erupted and King Canute's men threatened everything he had grown to love in episodes 19 through 21, which aired between May 16th and May 30th, 2023, Thorfinn's speed returned. His instincts roared back like lightning in a storm.
Stop dancing around and hit him back! Please listen to me. I don't want to fight you.
The old him would have painted the fields red, proving his might through rivers of blood. But unlike the hollow warrior boy, this new Thorfinn felt too much. So he made the most radical choice a Viking ever could. He refused to fight. This isn't weakness or cowardice. This is the most revolutionary form of strength imaginable. He's actively choosing to break a cycle of violence that had consumed countless generations of Vikings, proving through his own blood that the courage to not kill requires more bravery than the ability to kill. The symbolism overwhelms. His blood waters the same soil where he learned to plant hope instead of hatred. Thorfinn is becoming too much of a bitch. How do you think Askeladd would react to the older Thorfinn? Standing there, bloodied but unbowed, Thorfinn finally understood. He didn't need to find Vinland because he had become Vinland, carrying that paradise of peace within himself wherever he walked. In our age of endless conflicts and generational cycles of revenge, Thorfinn's story offers something both ancient and revolutionary, undeniable proof that it's possible to choose differently. His journey from vengeance-obsessed child to peace-seeking adult mirrors the evolution humanity itself must undergo to survive our own violent impulses. Consider the radical nature of his transformation. In a world where masculine strength is measured by body counts, where entire cultures build their identity on righteous violence, where revenge is not just accepted but expected, Thorfinn dares to ask the most dangerous question imaginable. What if there's another way? His legacy transcends anime, transcends fiction, transcends entertainment itself. Thorfinn turned me into a believer in peace. I stopped chasing anger. He went from a one-dimensional brat to a man of peace in Season 2, one of the deepest character arcs I've ever seen. The psychological accuracy of his arc has made him a symbol for anyone who's ever been broken by circumstances beyond their control, yet found the courage to rebuild themselves into something better. His story whispers revolutionary truths, that the strongest warriors are those who know when not to fight, that the greatest victories are won through compassion rather than conquest, that the most profound act of rebellion against a violent world is choosing peace when everyone expects you to choose war. The boy who began believing his pacifist father was weak ended his journey understanding that Thors was the strongest man who ever lived. And in making that same impossible choice, in becoming the man his father always knew he could be, Thorfinn proves that redemption isn't just possible, it's the most human thing we can do. His dark rise became a bright awakening, his brokenness became breakthrough, his trauma became triumph. The most broken anime character became the most whole human being, showing us that no matter how far we fall, no matter how lost we become, no matter how broken we are, that choice, that beautiful, terrifying, life-changing choice, is always available to us. Always.